Go.
I will. I want the world to be
go,
this.
go.
Oh,
Cheers.
we're drinking first. Oh, cheers.
No, we're not. We're cheersing because
Cheers.
there's been a little bit of a conversation behind you that is really, really, really powerful. Because who are you being and who are you allowing others to be?
And it's so important because in the ideal world, for me, in my naive view of the world, I want everybody to be who they want to be the best person they can be.
What kind of?
No.
Until you don't.
No, I do. I want them to be. Oh, no. We're not talking about serial killers now.
Until you don't.
I want you to be who you want to be, but I want
as long as it makes you feel good.
No. Here's the thing.
It's with all of us, I'm sorry.
No, I agree with you, but I want the world to be this. This person over here can be whatever they want to be, right? But
really?
But no. In their own mind, their own truth, they've got to live what they believe. They've got to be the person they want to be. They've got to become what they want to become. But they have got to allow.
Yeah, but they've got to. Just there,
here,
you've lost yourself.
No, I disagree because this person over here, you've got to allow.
Listen to me.
No, hold on. I've got to finish my thought now. I think you're getting the wrong end of it. This person over here can be whatever they want to be. But then you also have to allow other people to be what they want to be. You have to allow for the fact that people are different to you. And you can't be everything you want to be, but then close the door on other people being what they want to be. Because this is what people are doing.
But that's who that person is being.
But it's unfair though, because
yes, but that's what it is.
I know. That's what I said to you right up front though. In my naive view of the world, I want everybody to allow everybody else the freedom to be who they are and to coexist on this planet and just, I don't want to say be nice, but just, you know what? There's this thing in the world that's happening at the moment. You can say whatever you like.
Yeah, but you can't.
No, but listen.
Yeah.
You can say whatever you like as long as I agree with you. And that's nonsense.
That is exactly what you're saying.
But it's nonsense. It's not true. Because if I'm allowed to be whatever I want to be, so are you.
But there's...
So are you.
So we are coexisting. You know, everybody thinks that we like coexist, but there's... So you wanted to speak about this, so I'm going to bring this in, right? So you were saying, I want to speak about that. Well, let's speak about it. The awakening. So we're not in the information age. We're not in the dark ages. We're not in the age of ancient civilizations. In fact, we are the younger civilization. There's been civilizations out there that have been far, 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 far more advanced than what we're being, right? But what there is right now in this grand awakening is the space between consciousness, right, and knowing where we are. And there's a huge part that there's a big piece of evolution and there's another piece counteracting it that's like a reincarnation. People are more comfortable being in the history of who we've been versus to being. And that takes evolution. That takes what you're wanting. So we need to allow, but we're not allowing. We need to be, but we're not being. We need to whatever.
I don't understand.
Because it's not in the mind.
No, but I don't understand.
It's got to be in the heart.
No, but I don't understand what you're saying.
You don't understand?
No,
okay.
no.
So break it down.
I'm trying to, you're saying we are not allowing, we are not being.
We're not allowing. We say, you're allowed to be who you are. As soon as we get triggered with that person being the way they are, if we get triggered, we're going, okay, you're on.
But I'm not triggered though. I'm saying I don't want to be triggered. I want people not to
be
triggered.
For you not to be triggered, this is the only way that I see it for Vanda, because it works differently. It might work differently for you because there's a million roads for you to feel better. This is the way. The only way I know that Vanda doesn't get triggered with your doings is as long as Vanda is connected to her inner well-being and her higher self and her own knowing.
Sure.
Because the minute I am not, I'm counteracting that.
Okay. So let's do this, just by way of an example of me trying to understand where we're going.
Okay, so how many times? So I can shortcut this quicker because I know where you're going.
No, I don't think, no, I'm going to separate myself from those two people.
Well, don't, because they're the same people driving the car.
No.
There's the days that they hoot at you and there's the days that they don't.
I want to take myself out of this equation. I don't want to use the words I want or I need or I think or I feel. Not at all.
But if you don't, you're living in the equation free.
No, but what I'm saying is I want this. This is what I'm saying. Don't put me in those pictures. I'm not allowing you
Then
to
I'm not
be
playing the
anything.
game.
No, that's not fair. That's not fair.
Because you have to be part of it.
But exactly.
Because
But
otherwise we're speculating.
I want this person here to
You wanting that person there, Duane, that's out of the picture.
No. What I'm saying is, I think for harmony, if you're in a band,
Are you
and-
playing?
absolutely I'm playing.
Then
No,
it's
but-
part of you.
No, absolutely. But you've got to understand something. I cannot talk to the bass player and tell the bass player to understand the drummer. But I want them to understand each other. If I as the
comes from
singer,
practice.
that's what I'm saying though. You can't, for one reason or another, I'm going to play however I play. And if you play a bum note, I'm going to, you can't. I've got to allow you both to be the best you can be. It'll bring out the best in me.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying.
Practice.
But that's what I'm saying. I don't think that it's just, that's why I'm not understanding what you're saying.
Okay,
Because,
so you and I are saying the same thing, just different words. And that's why there's so much confusion on the planet.
yep,
Right? I love this conversation.
Yeah.
Because you're saying the same thing. First of all, law of the universe, law of attraction, brought you guys together. That's how you guys got attracted into the band.
right?
Now there's a synergy, there's a bantering that's going to go on. The bass player and the drummer, okay, are going to work things out of how they're going to do. You are going to either sync up or calibrate and collaborate with them if you guys are wanting to be in the band.
Right?
Have you never seen lead singers kind of leave their bands?
Very much so.
That's
Often.
because they're not willing to allow the bass player to be the bass player.
What about,
It's just, we come together by law and then we learn as much as we want to or allow ourselves to, and then we move on. Or
That
we
band.
take the people with us.
that band's a heavy metal band. Heavy
Could be
metal
whatever.
band. No. That band is a heavy metal band.
Yeah.
Heavy metal band who only agrees that there's one kind of music on the planet, heavy metal music. And
Okay.
anything outside of that, they poo-poo. Right?
Yeah, but they have the right to do that.
Do they?
Yeah,
They
it's their
can-
life.
Yeah, but you can't.
But they created a heavy metal band.
Yes, but you can't then talk down about people who aren't heavy metal musicians.
Yeah, but that's
you have
their
to
choices.
allow their space.
Then
That's
they've
what I'm
got
saying.
spiritual
So,
responsibility.
okay, so bullying. Let's go
Okay,
down
that's
to
very different.
No. If that is their spiritual place to allow it to be, if you're saying that that's their decision to be that human being, if they choose to be a bully, that they can bully other people.
Okay, so
And-
now you're talking.
No, but-
you're going to open up a doorway.
But this,
All right,
no, but
and I'm
this is
going to
exactly
answer.
what I'm talking about.
Okay, so-
I'm saying if you're a bully,
Right.
you can't pick on people who are different to you.
That's what bullies do.
Yes, I know, but that's what I'm saying. I don't want that to be the case. You can.
Yeah, but you not wanting or not wanting doesn't make a
That's-
difference.
but
In
isn't
fact,
it-
you
no.
not wanting.
But I've got some sort of say as to how that's going to go. I could be involved in that situation and
Right.
fix that. So I do have a say.
Right, but so so let me share something with you of the game of life, of the way I see it. Now, everybody else sees it the way you want to see it. So you're reacting to the bully. Okay? Well, that's because you're being triggered. Right?
Yeah.
Because the bully's not going to go for same. Bully's going to go for something that's different.
What if I'm a third party and I'm seeing the bullying?
Close your eyes.
No chance. Absolutely no chance. No chance.
Close your eyes. See, so you're going to
chance.
go for the fight.
No chance. There's no chance I'm closing
There's
my eyes.
no right. Okay, so that's a choice.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay. So now, in that, we never close our eyes. That's why we're having this conversation.
course.
But my invitation is to you, close your eyes. Because bullying is, it's always, it's now become a thing. It's always been there.
Always. Forever.
It's probably
Forever.
will come with a different name, the
Yeah,
name it
I
goes
agree,
around.
I agree.
What you want to be paying attention to is what are you looking at? What are you seeing? What is showing up in your life? What are you reacting to? Because now I'm talking to Duane, because Duane wants to get him outside of the picture. No. If you're the third party, even more important means that you're on the brink of something. That this energy's come past you and it's showing you, okay, showing you something.
Right.
Right? Now, clearly, you've got to always be aware and self-aware of the situation. Is it something that you can save somebody? Is it somebody that you can rescue somebody, redirect the energy? Can you intercede? Can you do whatever? But if you're going to go in and judge that person and make the things even worse, Well, then you've got to pay attention to all of that, right? There's no right and wrong. There's a manager of our world, and our manager is law of attraction. If it's showing up, clean it up if you don't want it, because our revving, our amplification, our emotions, our endorphins, our passion, our fire as warriors, whew. Can you imagine us back home right now?
Absolutely.
We'd be in a dark alley fighting.
I'm still confused, though. I'm
Okay.
still confused.
So confusion comes from what? What
No.
can you do to that bully?
I don't want to do anything to that bully.
Then don't.
No, but that's where I think you're misunderstanding me completely.
Right.
I want, in that
I
situation...
didn't misunderstand you.
No. Here's the thing. I don't want
Right.
the victim of that bullying.
But it's what you don't want. What do you want? Tell me what you do want.
I want that victim of the bullying to understand where that bully is coming from and to still stay true to their particular path and not to be affected by that bully and not to be affected. And I don't want to live in a world where people are...
Okay, so I'll tell you what.
I don't want to live in a world where people are...
Okay, so first question.
You're only allowed to be what you're allowed to be if it's what I like.
Yes, but
No,
that's...
nonsense.
Yeah, but you're not going to... You are in that world.
No.
But you are in that
I am,
world.
but I want to change that. I want to, in my own small way, even if it's one human being.
We've just become a one-man podcast.
No, that's not true. That's not true. That's not
I
true.
know what... Okay,
That's
so
not
let me
true.
share something with you. I think that is valiant and very, very... So that intensity can only come from when you really care about something, when you are aware of it.
Or somebody.
Of somebody.
Yep.
Okay, so how best to equip our loved ones? Okay, how best to equip our loved ones? And listen to me. My own son taught me this.
All right.
Yeah? He
Okay.
unfortunately went through a little bullying stage when he was younger.
Was the bully or was bullied?
No, he was bullied. Right? I wanted him to punch this person, kick them, defend himself, and he wouldn't. He just stood there, and that's who Rafa is. I was brought up,
Fight.
you know what I mean?
I do.
Our children will
Sure.
teach us
Sure.
if the parent is allowing it.
Yeah.
It's very difficult for a parent to allow certain things because we have a very predetermined, limited way of how we want to see things. We were brought up completely different.
We were.
Just very, very different. So
Especially to
bullying
now.
is very, very controversial, intense, and there's a lot that goes into it that cannot be explained here in this podcast. But we were going to address it. I know what you're coming from. So how do you help this person? If this is person that you've got some surroundings with, you have to inspire this person to start believing in who they are.
That's what I was saying.
So
That's really my point.
you have to, so the person that's being bullied, you know, I thought Rafa was being bullied at one stage. Rafa wasn't being bullied. Rafa had everything in him to stand up to this other kid.
That's exactly it.
Okay? What you're looking for is the answer is our children need to be given the freedom to stand up for themselves so that they're able to counteract. And I have to tell you something. I think that bullying comes from an adopted copycat situation because people model and do and say things that others do and say. Right? So for Vanda, I would redirect all of your focus to this person. And to
Which is
this,
what I would do. Yeah.
to this person and be a full-on warrior in bantering positive thought forms, positive talk, raising of intellectual information, feel goods, find their spaces where they can be elevated and connected to, because there's something there.
Absolutely. I fully agree with you.
You know, fighting.
From that split, yeah. No, I don't want it to fight back. There's something else I want out of this.
Yeah, you know, but bullies get fed by what other people feel weak to.
Absolutely. They go for weakness.
Right.
Of course.
I actually call that the
course.
Alki syndrome, by the
what?
way. Yeah,
The
I call
alky.
it the alky syndrome.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
It's when people are truly insecure
Oh, yes,
and
I
they have
agree.
something to hide
Yes,
about themselves, so they
totally.
bring other people down.
Yeah.
It's called alky.
I'd love to know more on that
Yeah, no,
particular...
you don't.
No, well, okay. See, now everybody's going to want to know. See, now,
No, you don't.
let's try and finish with this, because I know this is interesting, because what I want for this human being in this situation, I'm never going to change the bully.
You can't change the bully. The bully's going to be who the
Precisely.
bully is.
No, precisely. That's exactly it, which I'm fine with.
Yeah.
I'm fine with. That person's going to be who they are. They're going to learn their
So
lesson
you have
along
a
the way.
fear about who's being bullied.
No. The person who is being bullied, or who could possibly potentially be bullied.
Right.
I want that person, when they realize that that's happening, because this person is different to this person, the bully here is not allowing this person the space to be themselves. They want to bully that person based on sounding different, looking different, being myself, and stay. I don't want them I don't want them to use that person's tactic against them to feel better about themselves. I don't want them to go, I'm really short, so I'm going to hate all tall people because tall people bully me.
Right.
I am short, but I'm cool with that. I still love tall people. They're cool.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
I hear
I
you.
don't want them to get to that particular point. I don't want them. I don't want that. I just don't want that for them, because I feel it could lead them there.
Okay, so first thing, this is not a counseling session, Duane.
Why not? We can do whatever we want. It's our thing. We can do what we like.
All right. But the other thing is, my perception about everything, especially about this conversation, which is so controversial.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many layers to bullying.
Oh, sure.
So many.
Fair enough.
So many.
Yeah.
But I know exactly what, this is redirecting what we want takes a lot of work, right? It just takes a lot of work. But there's nothing that breaks down darkness and nothing that breaks down controversial, limiting beliefs like love,
And
self-love, and confidence. And that can only come from you being tuned in with your higher self.
Point taken.
I mean,
200%.
do you understand what I'm saying?
200%, and I agree with you 1,000%.
You need to take a salt bath and get rid of this
No, this is...
whatever you've got
this
going
is-
on there.
no,
No,
this
I'm only
is-
joking.
no, of course I
But
know,
I'm
I know,
not.
I know. No,
Because we get,
it's the
I know
light.
when I get into this extra warriorship, I'm like, not on my dime, not on this, not on that. When I start talking like that, my feathers are already ruffled. So
But you're right, though. The light is
there's
always...
nothing.
the
I'm going
light.
to tell you guys
It's
right
the
now.
light.
I don't care what religion, what you believe in, what you don't believe in, who you are, what you're not. Nothing is more powerful than love, light, and confidence. And if you don't confide in you, and if you don't trust you, then God has got a lot of angels. Lots of them. Good one, though.
I agree completely.
Excellent.
I love it.